Okay, back out as I promised I would be with the Smith & Wesson M&P 10mm. So I want to have a little bit more fun with it because I love shooting 10mm and I love shooting M&Ps, so that makes a nice combination. I also put an optic on it as I promised I would. This is the Loophole Delta Point Pro, and I'll talk a little bit more or show you maybe some close-ups a little bit more on this, but this particular optic, and one of the reasons I chose to put this one on is to just show that it kind of negates the high sights because this optic sits so tall. Number one, the optic itself is thick, you know, it stands very tall anyway, but the plate that you have to use that comes from Smith & Wesson to put this thing on there is super tall and thick too. So the combination just basically takes away that co-witness. That was part of why I chose it, and the other part is I think it just makes a really nice pair, nice combination. This will be the first shots with the sight on it, which means I have not taken any steps to zero it in, so I hope that it's close. Just eyeballing it, it looks like it's going to be real close, but we shall find out. Now let's see if the slide stop is functioning any better as a slide release. Oh yes, very nice. So the thing I've noticed with M&Ps is, you know, I complain immediately when they don't function that way, but they do tend to wear in, so give it that. All right, very first shots. Let's see if this thing is anywhere near zero. Yeah, it looks like it's a little low. Yeah, it's consistent. I'm aiming at the middle of the target. I'm aiming probably 4 inches high from where you see those hits. It looks like, I think windage is good. Looks like it just needs to come up a little bit. Actually, the dot needs to go down a little bit. I might make a tweak, then we'll come back and shoot some more. Okay, I tweaked the sight a little bit and I got it, I think, pretty darn close. Pretty darn close is good enough for me because pretty darn close is about as good as I can ever shoot. Besides, if I leave it just a little tiny bit off of zero, it gives me some sort of an excuse. Otherwise, I got nothing. So if you see the target downrange, and of course you can because I've put it right here for you, that Australia-shaped pattern is my post-adjustment group. So that was my test group after sighting it in, and like I said, you know, tiny bit to the right, but I can live with that because I tend to pull them left anyway, so as the day goes on, I might be right where I need to be. I apologize. If you catch me looking up, it's because I'm looking for my my sometimes range buddy. Not so much a range buddy, but one who observes occasionally, and that is an absolute beautiful bald eagle that will come and just do, especially on a warm day, very unseasonably warm day like today, get out here and ride those thermals and just do those lazy circles. So hope to find him or her, whichever, and if I do, I have another camera with me that I use for wildlife photography, and I will try and grab a little bit of video and share it, maybe a couple still images, and I'll share it with you because, hey, who doesn't love bald eagles? And if you don't love bald eagles, go away. I don't need you here. All right, back to it. Where was I? All right. Comments that I want to try and address that I do read almost all the comments, even the not so nice ones. And there were a lot of them are very similar about this gun, but there were a few questions that I do want to try to ask, or ask. There were a few questions that I do want to try and answer. One was, is the right side / left-hander's slide stop slide release able to function as a slide release? So I'm going to put myself in left-handed mode, which I don't do very well. Sorry, just a buzzard. And let's try it. No, sir. No, sir, it does not. Let me try my opposing thumb. What's the point of being a primate if you can't use your opposing thumb? Nope. Absolutely not. Maybe with a hammer, it might. All right, so but if I put myself back in right-handed mode, which all good people are, it's working just great. So there's that. All right, back to it. The loophole Delta Point Pro is working out nice. Even though I can't co-witness, I don't really need to. All right. Very good, very good. Quite pleasant, in fact. Another question that I got, or comments that I saw fairly repeatedly was, sorry again. I commented in the first video about the trigger being a little gritty, and I'm finding already as with the slide stop slide release kind of wearing in, so is the trigger, because there's much less grit already with less than 200 rounds so far through this gun, and it's already smoothing out nicely. So sometimes I think you just have to be patient, let those parts wear together a little bit. Yeah. Okay, among the comments that I got on the first video were lots of comparison requests or specific comments with comparison in them. Like what's the, how snappy is it compared to the XYZ? So I don't want to bring out every 10 millimeter I have and compare, recoil. That might be a fun special video to do at some point, but not today. That would just be way too much to try and put into a video like this. But I thought, comparing it to what has been for years the quintessential polymer framed 10 millimeter handgun, the Glock 20, would be a good comparison. And it's not going to be any kind of scientific comparison. No, 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 no. We don't do science here. The name is Just an Opinion, not just in fact. But anyway, I'm going to just shoot, like 5 rounds through the Glock 20, and I'm going to turn on all my senses best I can and try and give you my very honest evaluation of that, and compared to the M&P when I shoot 5 rounds right after that through it. You get to watch, and so hopefully you can also make your own assessment based on what you're seeing. You can see muzzle flip that I may or may not really feel. My perception, and if you're a shooter, a handgun shooter, you know this, my perception behind the gun of how much that muzzle is lifting can be very different to your perception watching me shoot it. So we'll both get to kind of learn something. Hey, who knows? This could be just your opinion. All right, so the Glock. And by the way, I'm shooting Sig Sauer. Elite Performance, not that I think it's the hottest stuff on earth, but it is a stout load. and it is published at 1250. So 1250 feet per second. And the one thing that I do know over the years of shooting Elite Performance, it is very, very consistent. So I think it's a really good one to use for this kind of a comparison. So it's a stout 10 millimeter load, and commercially available, and it is a very consistent load. So, and of course they're both coming from the same box. All right, all that said, here we go. Glock 20, 5 rounds. Now I'm going to hold, you know, like I normally would for both guns. Okay. I see that felt normal to me for 10 millimeter, and you know, looked normal from my perspective of it. So 5 of the same rounds through the M&P. Well, I can tell you already, M&P is snappier. Are you seeing that? Yeah, there's no doubt. No doubt about it. A little bit snappier right here. But it's a lighter gun, and you know, different dynamics, but it is what it is, right? You also have that different grip angle on the M&P. You're not as canted forward, which is canting the wrist forward like that more, which you have to do with a Glock, is kind of puts your skeleton in optimal position to fight recoil. So there's an answer to that question. I know I'm not lining them all up. I know you guys wanted to see like the Springfield, but you know, that I don't have one that's the same size, so that really would kind of be a meaningless comparison. But you know, then there's 1911s, and I have some heavy SIGs, but maybe one day I'll do a all 10 millimeter, just drag them all out here and have fun. But today is not that day. Hopefully that comparison will whet your appetite.
Another question that was asked a few times, or had comments related to it, was that of the chamber's cartridge support. Again, using the Glock 20 for comparison, I'll show you my observations. The Glock 20 is the best to compare because it's a common topic that Glocks don't offer full support. Side by side, here are the M&P 10mm and the G20 10mm from different angles. It's obvious to me that the M&P provides more support for the cartridge at the mouth of the chamber, particularly at the bottom where the feed ramp joins the chamber. The other difference, of course, is the polygonal rifling of the Glock versus the traditional lands and grooves of the M&P.
A couple more follow-ups on comments and my previous video too. Of course, you know, last time I spent a lot of time, maybe too much, arguably, looking at the 45 ACP magazine and whether or not it would work in this gun, and the conclusion was, yeah, kinda. Well, there were a lot of comments and a lot of discussion around why, and pretty much, I mean, I think I kind of said this in the first video, maybe not as assertively or conclusively, but it is 100% the follower. There's, if you look at the follower, you can very easily see the design difference and the different contours and such. So that is pretty much it. So if you have a big stash of 45 ACP M&P mags, like me, you could always just try and find a, bag of followers, swap them out. Not sure if that's my eagle. Don't know. If I just stop right in the middle of what I'm doing, it's because that's my eagle. He's still too far away to really tell for sure. All right, back to it. Let's see if I can make some headshots here consistently. All right. Boy, this texture is serious texture. Definitely leaves its mark, but it holds that gun steady in your hand. There's no doubt about that. All right, for you groupies, here's a little bit of groupage. I'm going to shoot 4 groups, 20 yards, using what I consider to be the top shelf ammo. Hard to come by, and in a couple cases here, this will drain my my inventory. But starting with Corbon Hunter, 200 grain round nose with a flat point, and this is published at 1125 feet per second. All right, so hopefully my zero is good enough that I'm not going to drift too far right. We'll find out here in a moment. Okay, that was the 5 rounds of Corbon. Now let's move over. Hopefully I won't shoot my little clip. For some reason it makes me really mad when I shoot my clip. Yet, the round I shot probably cost 10 times as much as the clip. This is going to be Underwood doubled ham, and it is 135 grain, jacketed a hollow point, moving right along at 1,600 feet per second. Oh yeah, baby. I can hear and feel the difference. Getting awful close to that clip. All right, there's those 5. And it didn't damage my clip. Next up, Hornady, and this is 180 grain XTP bullet. And let's see if we have a published, yep, 1,180 feet per second is the published speed. All right, there's those 5. And last, but probably not least, Sig Sauer Elite Performance V-Crown, jacketed hollow point, and this is 1,250 feet per second. Where'd that go in? Almost same hole? Nice. All right, there are those 5. I think they look like the best 5. And I have to tell you, I'm not terribly surprised. All right.
Smith & Wesson includes a large number of adapter plates for the optics, 7 in total. This is awesome and among the best in the industry. Pretty much any optic can be mounted on the M&P using one of the supplied adapters. The one that fits the Delta Point Pro is the highest of all the adapters. Combined with the very tall optic itself, the tall sights are basically removed from the equation. For most other optics, though, you can easily co-witness. There are also 4 different back straps to choose from, allowing the gun to be tailored to the user. I measured the trigger pull after 2 trips to the range and a lot of dry firing, and it breaks at an average of 4 pounds, 12 ounces. The M&P 10mm is a much lighter pistol than many 10mm handguns because most of them are steel or alloys. The Glock you saw compared at the range is bulky and has a heavy slide compared to the M&P, and this results in a bit of additional muzzle lift, depending on the shooter, the ammo, the grip you use, etc. But unless you feel you need to put double taps on your target, it's really a non-issue. I prefer the comfort and ergonomics of the M&P over most others, and if that means a bit more snap, I'm okay with it. I hope this deep dive look at the new M&P 10mm was helpful and answered most of your questions. Don't be afraid to stomp on that like button and help the video out. And subscribe if you don't already. This pistol came to me as a review loaner, but rather than return it, I told Smith & Wesson I'd rather buy it. So it is now part of the family, and you might see it again from time to time. Other ways to help the channel and keep content flowing are by using my affiliate codes and discount codes that you can find below, and you can find me on Patreon too. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.